So Back Office Thursday. So last night we talked about finding deals and getting the NEDs and the NODs, which are the same thing. Next week we'll cover list pendants, which are judicial foreclosure, because there's just so much to cover. I can't cover it all in one night. So basically tonight we're going to answer the question. So what do you do now? With Back Office is basically offer generation, sending the offer out, lender matching, capital passport, transaction coordination. So it's awesome. The Back Office is what turns it into transactions. So there's a deal desk workflow. We talk about, like I just showed you in that deal desk, there's the progress bar. And so there's also a bar just like that one showing the properties. There's also a bar, there's 11 steps, and the bar, as the bar completes, it runs across the screen. You know exactly where you are on that deal, which is great. It's awesome. It helps everybody. So you get in these steps, you get to these steps real quick. But let me show you real quick before I'll come back to this. What I want to show real quick is that we have Capital Passport. You guys are, I mean, everybody's familiar with Core now. But here's the Capital Passport one. And if either of you or anybody else needs it, let me know and I'll send it. You just put it in just like you did with Core. So this one, whereas they do with buy box and Delta sweeps, this one actually has, here's modes. The modes in the Capital Passport are different than the modes in Core. So in Capital Passport, you have Core mode, the default advisory mode for broad capital strategy and financeability review, structure, borrower position, deciding the right capital lane. Then it has lender mode. It's got a senior debt mindset. So it focuses on DSCR, debt yield, LTV, LTC, recourse, collateral quality, sponsor strength, reserves, exit, repayment. But it also has family office mode and hedge fund mode. So Core is the default mode. So if you wanted to go into family office mode, it's totally cool. So there's different modes, just like in Core. So when you open this, I mean, it does everything. Some of the buttons I'll show you in a minute. It's cool. So this gets into, like, if it's for family offices. If you have a hedge funds are different than family offices. Hedge funds are a little bit more, like family offices are a little bit more careful, but they're a lot more easier to work with. Meaning hedge funds are a little bit more fly by the seat of their pants, but they take a lot of risks. Speed, complexity, distress, bridge situations, I mean, high yield structures, downside protection. You can get into hedge fund mode. So you want to get in. So you want to play around and learn about these different modes in Capital Passport. I'll go back to a couple buttons. So here, this one is. So run this deal through Capital Passport. I need the best fit capital path. Likely lender profile, family office angle, hedge fund angle, red flags, next step. So you got to go in and put the information in here. So obviously, you can copy and paste, and basically copy it here, paste it into your box right here where it's Ask GPT. And then you can actually just use a mouse. It's the best way to do it, or a finger if you're good at that, but I prefer a mouse. Then you can fill this all out. Your deal snapshot, put all the information into it. And then you can do the same thing. So you want to copy and paste pretty much these whole things, because you want to go into your capital request, total capital needed, what's the debt needed or equity needed, if you want to do debt versus equity. Learning mode will actually teach you the difference between setting up debt and setting up equity. Target leverage, and then it gets into use of proceeds, timing, closing deadline. Then you get into sponsor profile, and then there's exit plan, and then you start getting into known issues. So once you get in there, once you send all that, you put 1 through 5 in here, then it's going to return the analysis. It's going to give you a quick verdict, possible, financeable, or attractive, likely fit by mode, lender, family office, or hedge fund. Main strengths, the main weaknesses, red flags, and the most realistic capital path, suggested structure, what to fix before outreach, and the next step outreach strategy. So that is in that one. So I have to kind of jump on this a little bit. So you get into that, it's Capital Passport. Then the other one is, I'm looking for the right capital source for real estate deal. Ask me the key underwriting and sponsor questions, then recommend the best mode and capital approach. So this one, so all these are different sets. So you want to kind of look at it and see which one you prefer, because this one is, they're all different, but they all kind of get to the same path. One of them is more for like family offices and hedge funds and lenders, but it's cool. This one gets into your deal basics. So really, do you want something that has more? There's more definition. So when you're filling this out and you're putting information in, it's kind of like you have a lot of the answers there. What you can do is then you can copy and paste, and then you can hit before you hit paste, you can delete what you don't need or add what you need. It's pretty cool that way. This one gets into current performance, NOI. This will be good. This will be good for you, Doris, on this one because it gets into NOI, it gets into rent rolls, things like that. It's gonna evaluate all that, and
Okay.
that helps with the business plan. So you look at it. This one literally has about 30, 32 different questions already that's going to ask you. So you can go through this whole list and it'll ask you all the questions and it'll put everything together for you. It gives them the risk flags in your current package. Do you have the OM? Do you have the rent roll, the T12? Do you have pro forma, sources and uses? Do you have a budget? Is there appraisal, an environmental title, sponsor bio, track record, lender deck? This thing can actually research lenders. It can research sponsors. It can research investors that you're looking to work with. It's awesome. Then it said, have you already approached capital resources? If yes, who declined and why? So you can start putting in information on if anybody's turned it down and started looked at it. So you can get in a quick verdict. We'll give you the best mode recommendation, the likely capital path, the lender angle, the family office angle, the hedge fund angle. So it gives you three different paths. Then the main red flags, any suggested structure, what to fix before outreach, and then your next step, capital strategy. All of these, all these actually will walk you through everything. It has all the questions, so you don't really have to go through and guess. Just copy and paste it, and then take your time. You can even ask it to do a sample if you want to practice. Hey, this is a sample. Get some stuff from previous, or just get some stuff off Crix here. Live that and go in there and start playing with it. Get what you like. If you're looking at multifamily, do multifamily. Don't do like storage or anything. Put what you actually wanted to pursue. And if you go in there and practice a few deals, you're going to get good at it and you're going to understand it. And you want to build projects. So if you're going to build like for any of those things we were just talking about before on a recording, you want to build a project for each of the probably for each of these acquisitions, so you can start putting all the information in there. So like I got this one that says Cody. We'll go over that one off recording. That's the one we pulled last night on the NED. But this will actually review my deal, the borrower profile, and capital ask like an actual lender or investor would. Keep in mind, capital passport is thinks like a lender or a family office or a hedge fund, depending on what mode you're in. So when you're in there, it's going to be asking you the questions that you're going to get asked, or you're going to have to send information on to a lender. So that's good. You're going to basically, it's almost like when you're building this, you're going to get all your red flags taken care of. Think about it as like a stop sign or a stoplight. You got red, yellow, green. If you get all greens, you're good. If you get a couple of yellows, you can fix it. Slow down, fix a couple of things, you're going to get all greens. It's good. If you get any reds, it's probably hard. It's probably not going to be a deal. So you can go in there and set it up that way. So here again, almost everything we do almost is redundant. It just depends on what path you like. Some of these are very basic. Once you get going, they're a little faster, but they don't have all the information like these do. Like two of them, they increase the amount of information that when it's asking questions. So that way you don't have to review a lot of stuff if you're experienced. If you're newer, you want the one that has more of the where you can just eliminate. So this one gets into capital ask, the property economics, and the exit plan. Then you got the borrower and sponsor profile and the risks. So it's pretty cool on that. Really quick, I'm going to go. So like I said, that gets back to capital passport, and I can give everybody that. So let me know, hit me up on Messenger, and I'll send you that link, the bit.ly link and the chat. And then, like I said, you just get just like core, which is here. You get that one. Capital passport, you'll get that one. And then if you want rehab scope of work, this one gets a lot of the rehab stuff. And then we have engage. Those are the four out of the seven. These are going to be the four that everybody's probably going to use. And the reason is, if you guys get into these at all, I can't. They give you 20 spots to load this up with information. So if I go to edit my GPT on core, so if I go to core, Here's those conversation starters that I just showed you. See those in the box. You can put as many as you want, but only really put four because only the top four will actually show up here. And then these are this is where the information is. Each one of these PDFs is probably close to 50 pages. So there's 20 of them. So I got probably 1,000 pages of information powering the intelligence. The same goes into the other GPTs. That's why it was necessary to set up the other ones. So it's pretty cool that way. So yeah, it's pretty amazing that way. Let me kind of show you also something because a lot of people have asked me, hey, Brian, I just had to check in. Cool. Let me get you all set up. Yeah. Cool. We got you all in there.
How you
All right.
doing?
Yeah. Hey, Brian, what's going on? Oh man. So yeah, I'll kind of show you guys some stuff real quick on this. I'm going to show you where the deals is when we go to actually run the show an AD. I'm going to take it off recording mainly because I don't know if anybody knows. I think our lesson, Brian, you probably don't know this since you guys were on last night. I know Ginger and Doris were YouTube deleted for probably out of 500 videos. They deleted the first one ever last week because I showed. They said it was non-public information, but it's public information. So I don't know. I'm kind of going to start when I show that. I'm going to start taking it off recording, just so I can still show everybody the how the actual what it looks like. So it's kind of cool. But let me go through and I'll go through and show you guys how it looks when I get one of these reports. And then after we go through the rest of the presentation, we'll take the recording off and I'll return to that and I'll actually pull up that one from last night. I'll show you guys what we generated off that. So let me go ahead and show that I have 15 reports a week that I get. And I get I get like probably 8 nationals. I get a couple that go from like Casper, Wyoming down to Pueblo, Colorado, because that's the area that I live in just to verify stuff. I drive by the houses and stuff just to make sure that everything's accurate. And then I get some that are like more regional. So I get 15 reports a week off those Delta sweeps. A lot of the people are getting these. I know like Eric, who's Lulu, and Fred Hitchcock, and those guys they're all like off and doing their thing now. So it's pretty cool. We have 100% rate. Hundreds really of people actually generating a ton of lead flow, which is cool. It's different, but I'll show everybody kind of the reports I get. So I don't know. Let's see. And then, so Brandon, so everybody that's in besides you right now has been in the program, has been in with me for a while. Doris and Ginger have been in for a couple of years, even before we ever got into AI. So, like I said, I started the community in 2020. And we started doing stuff in 2019. So a lot of the people that have been in it for a while before we ever even knew what AI was or what it was going to do. I mean, so it's pretty phenomenal for what it does. Everything we did was building blocks. If something's evolving, if we have to evolve, we evolved. And I think it's pretty cool what it's able to do. So really quick, I'm going to go ahead and pull up. Try to pull up one more of the national ones because they're a little bit different. We have a lot more different information. I just have to go through and remember it. So I'll pull up, like I said, I get 15 reports. They usually come in the morning. Thursday is a good for me. So last year I put 50 markets. I got one of those Adam reports and I put in 50 markets and it ended up, I figured out 6,513 zip codes. So it doesn't pull that many zip codes, but it does actually scan through, and I get a lot of good stuff from it. So this is one. This is dated through July. This window. The coverage window of this roll up was June 30th to July 6th. So it's going to give me from Adam. I just posted that. You guys can go to Adam. They got all the foreclosure data. They just released foreclosure data for the second quarter. Also for June, they always do it mid-month. So, the following month, by about the 15th, they'll have the previous month. They also will do the quarterly, and they'll do the 6 month and the annual. So you guys saw me post that report. This is actually going to give me verified market counts, and I can copy and paste. There are 624 active foreclosure notices in Collin County, Texas. In Bexar County in San Antonio, we pulled 469. There are 456 plus 13 tax notices. So we're able to pull that. There's a foreclosure map from that. These are the off ramps. So just for everybody that's new, like, we set this up kind of like the way we teach it is it's like an interstate highway. And instead of the stops being the hotels, restaurants, boulevards, ball string, tourist attractions, the first one is the AHJ, the authority having jurisdiction, the counties, the county governments. So we set these up as the off ramps. You get into Bear County, you get into Harris County, it's got all the foreclosures. So when we start pulling up mass numbers of foreclosure filings, we just hit these links and it goes right to that link, right to that county, to their office, and you can go pull their list. Sometimes there's a little few steps you got to do. You got to do the human verification. It won't do that for you. So this all happens manually in the first 7 days of like in the first really 7 days. There's a 7 day plan that Core has, which is on my left on my screen. So everything starts with Core, and it has the all three of the conversation starters out of the four have a 7 day plan. But realistically, between day 7 and day 30, we do a couple of tweaks, a couple of one-on-ones, and like I said, Fred's off and running, Eric's off and running. A lot of people, Amanda, all those people. We got out of 203 people in the group. Like I said, probably about 100 of them are out there just they're working, and nothing goes through me. I don't see what I see is what I'm showing everybody on the screens, the stuff that I pull pretty much to test things and show people the processes. So I don't ever see anybody's workflow, their deal flow, other deals, whatever they're doing. I don't get to see it, which is good. Everybody owns it. It goes to them. Nobody else sees it. So you don't have to worry about somebody out there holding 10,000 leads and they can they promise you that they're exclusive, but they're still selling them to people, and you can't really verify that. So this has all the counties. We start with a market guide. We do one for every county. If somebody comes and says I need Bear County, San Antonio, or if I need Harris County and Maricopa, Fulton County, Georgia, Duval County. We just did a couple for Washington State. I build those first market guides, and then you can actually go and turn your own market guide, turn those market guides into more of your own. You could go nationally, you just can't do it all at one time. Don't. And the other thing is, if it's judicial and non-judicial foreclosure, is not to run the Delta sweeps together for those, separate them. So one run. You can run multiple states together as long as they're either judicial or non-judicial. You can do it, but it's going to be really slow. To the most efficient way, because you're going to get the non-judicial results faster. You're probably going to start seeing stuff in 2 days, unless today's Thursday. You probably, if you did it today, you probably wouldn't start seeing stuff till Monday, Tuesday, because obviously the counties aren't open on weekends. And this is interesting because this actually through all these Texas counties, and then it gets to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So it's kind of interesting that way. So you can click on these. That does use bid for assets, but these are all actual county websites. And so
yeah, that Bear County, I'm sorry,
yeah.
great.
I asked a question about that. So I think what I caught is that the GPT is bringing in the foreclosure information from mostly the county websites, but you're physically going in there to be able to get through the CAPTCHA and other safeguards that are there on the site.
Yeah, you can't go through them with automation, at least at this, and so how we basically we're able to automate almost everything but that, and it won't go through paywalls. I have done some things on some websites and I don't like to talk about the recording because I just tell people when I was testing this, I wanted to see how far it could go. And I like some like Crexia and LoopNet and stuff, they have these areas that are shaded. You have to pay to unshade them. And I was able to run them over there and it'll actually read them. But I don't promote that because I don't want people doing that. But
No, it's okay. I just that's why I've been, in and out. I have small kids and I run a couple of companies, and so I'm definitely interested in, this technology, but it's taken me a minute to grasp everything that it does, right?
yeah,
Uh, uh, so to center back on my question, I go to the county. because I want to get everything in San Antonio, right?
Yeah.
And so I pull that down and then I run it back through another core in order to skip the data that I'm skip the ownership, right? I'm looking for my contacts so that I can get it squared up to go into whatever CRM system that I'm going to start heating up my
Yeah.
motivated sellers.
Yeah, and there's a couple of steps in here. The slowest part is probably the first 7 days, and then it gets between day 7 and 30. We do some tweaks. I do some one-on-ones with you because I like after about a week to 2 weeks, I like you to share a script with me and show me because I can tell you do this, do this, do this.
Where the efficiencies are.
Yeah, you're training it. As far as CRM, I mean, GPT anyway can connect to Airtable. It can connect to GHL. So through the plugins you see in my sidebar, you can
that's what I run.
Yeah, and so I also one of the things I've done, and a couple of people in the group that are on right now, we tried to set up where people could do it with Gmail, like a poor man's CRM. I mean, people just to get going, just to get this thing start firing while they set up GHL or something because they may not be familiar with it, and some people don't want to spend a lot of money. They're finding out that all this information that they've generated, they could send to a Gmail. You get it, obviously get it for free. You have to go set it up, come back to the plugins, and in like less than a minute, you can fire all this information to that to save it. It also will save it in projects. We recommend what I tell everybody is when they're first starting, the first, like I said, 7 days and then up to the first 30 is training. You're training it, you're teaching an employee, you're building it. Is to set it up in projects over here. And so we'll have a buy box project, and then you'll have a market guide project. And then we set up one for comps, ARV. I created something called market reality assessment, MRA. It's basically equivalent to what real estate agents do for their clients' CMAs. And then obviously skip tracing. A lot of the information that people need in skip tracing, and I can show it off. I'll show it off the recording because that's I think what I got nailed by YouTube for. Is that there's a lot of information in there. You can get all the information that a lot of people charge for skip tracing in the NEDs, the NODs, even the list pendants. There's also a way you can get the lenders, all their contact information. You can get all the loan information, but you can also get the lender's attorney's information. So there's a way you can go straight to the lender or go straight to the lender's attorney and cut out a lot of stuff if you really want to make a deal on the property or an offer. It gives you all that. It's most of the states or some, California, well, obviously Cook County, Illinois is pretty much as corrupt as, everybody kind of laughs about that.
I'm from there, I know.
Yeah, no, it's
I'm not corrupt, but Illinois is.
yeah, we got some because we got I got a guy in Illinois and we started working on some Illinois stuff for him. And he's doing a lot better because of RCIC. We're not able to get 100% to like, I can get Colorado, man, my home state, dude, people need to be like flipping, like wholesaling here because it's like foreclosures here. It's like so easy to deal with. It's incredible. It's awesome. And my background started as a private money broker. My 8-year anniversary is in August. So I built all this and built the community really to help people with the funding part. Everything else I've kind of accumulated, like my whole database is 19,000 contacts and all that. So I kind of just kept building to provide more to my clients. And especially during COVID, we put 13 people together in the group. That was the first initial group we did. 9 of them are still around. So it's kind of just been building blocks for what we had to get into to, especially now when everybody's like, I built a scraper. I built a strip miner. I told Anthropic, I said, I don't want to scrape. I want to dig all the way to China for information. And I actually looked up where I pop out of the other side of the earth and I dug straight through. It was kind of funny. We did that fun because we like to have fun once in a while on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Our group's been around. I know Ginger can tell you that she's been probably the longest everybody that's on here now, followed by Doris. So
I've got a property in Washington. I can't say the county, but it's in Winthrop. It's kind of a rural area, and I just found out from the seller. I'm not the acquisitions manager on this, but I was doing a higher level call for my acquisitions manager, and just revealed that she's 331 days behind on a hard money loan. And Washington is a trustee
Yeah.
state, so I got the prelim just a couple of days ago, and I ran it in my chat GPT, and I'm like, what does this look like to you? And they're like, oh yeah, they recently assigned it to another trustee that handles, foreclosures in Washington. And so my question is this system so wily that for the state of Washington, I'm trying to figure out whether or not I have a notice of default filed?
No, Washington is actually pretty good with RCIC, because I just built some guides for one of our, we call them operators. I've got 3 people in Washington now, and so I've built a couple of the market guides for them. And basically, the market guides will actually run you through. It actually will goes through everything. It goes through it lists the different AHJs, is what we call the authority having jurisdiction, the counties, and it basically will list all their actual, these links, like Collin
Hmm.
County and stuff for Austin. Uh,
Hmm.
and it'll have those links, and it'll also have, in Colorado we have Rule 120, so it'll have any of the local state or the local rules in there. It's a PDF. So what you do is when you have these market guides, I usually will build your first one or first two, and then I show you how to go into here in your in your prompt bar, add it as a PDF and ask it to duplicate and include all the HJ information and all the rules for foreclosures, for all your distress, whatever you're looking for, and it'll make it in less than a minute. And you can duplicate it. You can go nationally if you just go to that many markets. It's pretty cool. They're really well organized. I can send you one after. I can send you on a messenger that I just did last night. I duplicated one live for one of our new people, and so you put those in there, and it basically runs you through any of the particulars that could affect that jurisdiction. And sometimes you'll find even in different parts of different states that they run different. Obviously, in some places I've shown people is that you can have 2 counties next to each other that are completely different, only because they have different vendors. Like how it's displayed on the screen, all the same information there. I've shown that classic in Colorado because Boulder County is right next to where Boulder is, right next to Broomfield County. And Broomfield County is our newest county in Colorado, and it's city and
Hmm.
county. And they're completely different. And there's some counties that I call the Mayberry counties. And you probably guess why. It's like the small ones that don't have any tech, or they don't have, or they throw everything together. You get the wedding announcements and the obituaries. It's in the same area we have the foreclosures. So those kind of counties, it does really good. The best thing is with these market guides and all that, that up front, when you put this in
Hmm.
there. So it's basically going to program it. Keep in mind, like a lot of people are building stuff. I've got over 2,000 hours into this, and I've pumped a godless 12,000 probably pages of documents, not, one by one, obviously, but workbooks, training books, manuals, all kinds of stuff in there to train it. So this has more, and I was just showing, I think when you came in, I was showing those slots where I put those PDFs. There's a lot of information that's in here that'll help. And I've found that RCIC is pretty much unlimited. And most of all the feedback when I'm out there telling anybody is what I'm getting from the people that are using it. Like I got the guy that built 1,000 foreclosures in 3 days, and he went in 12 minutes and parsed it down to 10, skip traced him, and then he did manual underwriting to compare to it. And he said it was 97% accurate. So I'm putting that out there. Everything that I'm
Hmm.
putting out there is what I'm hearing from my people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just incredible. It's just sometimes in the first 7 days, and then really up to about 30, there's 2 periods, so 7 days, and then up to 30. I can kind of show, let me show on core. I kind of showed this last night a little bit. But so this is core. This is what I first send you. And this is obviously set up or update my buy box. This is really like once you're experienced and you want to just change your buy box. RCIC mode, I can show that one to you. Deploy the Delta sweeps. The Delta sweeps is probably what we've seen me promote lately, and that's a terminology out of OpenAI. So I call it the Delta sweep protocol, and that's where you go out and you build it. It goes out with the prompts. It has your markets. It has your buy box. That's what's returning these reports to me. So I'll go over 2 of these. I'll go over this one. I'll show you the learning mode. So this actually is pretty phenomenal, and it does take, I tell everybody, everybody can go in right away and go through it on their own time, and even, copy and paste, put in PDF, however you want to learn it. I try to set it up so people because I can't go word for word, otherwise I'd be on these Zooms for 4 or 5 hours. So I tell everybody, I like to show everybody navigate, show them where to go, and then they can go out there. I think they're more empowered because they can kind of learn at their own pace. And it sets up everything live. You can do this in like the first hour, and then really in the first 7 days is 20 to 30 minutes a day. If people are busy, you can stretch that out. There's no people have done this in one day. I used to send, and I think Ginger and Doris could tell you, I used to send like 5 PDFs, and people were like, "Well, which ones?" Then I had to explain which one, the order. What you do now. I send the activation link, and then I send a market guide, or a couple of them if I need to. But this walks you through everything. So this will actually go through, and it starts with the buy box. You can do multiple buy boxes. So the best thing is it gives you the ability, and I'll just kind of scan down through it a little bit, is that you can copy and paste and put it in here, and then take your time and fill it out. Use your mouse or whatever before you push send. So it gets into that. Distress intelligence, it maps out all of this for all the different jurisdictions and what they cover. Who does code violations compared to who does evictions, who does vacancy. So it tells you what agencies, honestly.
That's good. Yeah, saves time.
Yeah, no. And the market guides help with that, but that way you can go through and just go, hey, I'm doing vacancy. It's going to tell you that. And everything that I do is redundant in a way. So it doesn't matter if you choose any of the 3 options out of the 4 of those buttons. They just are formulated a little different. This is the one that I tell everybody, if they are just brand new to RCIC, use this one. If they're a little bit experienced, use the Delta Sweep one, because if you've already got your buy box and your markets in, that's tweaking it. If you're experienced and just want to change your buy box or add a new buy box, then you use that one. This also gets into scoring for distress, all your distress signals. And you can ignore this. I mean, it's going to give you all the information you want, but it's going to, it's no matter what. But, if you want to use it, you can, if it's there. If you don't want to use it, you can just, however you want to do it. It just, because I've had some people say this looks like a lot of information. Like we have all the apps and all the stuff that people have seen me putting out lately. And I tell everybody, nobody's going to use everything. Most people are going to use a core in the GPT, Capital Passport, and Rehab Scope Engine. We have 7 GPTs, but there's 4 that pretty much everybody will use, core mainly. The RCIC Deal Desk, which is what I've been promoting. You probably see me promote that one a little bit. And then I have RCIC Systems, which is like the highway. It looks like a website. It follows along. It's very strict, stuff like that. Nobody's going to use everything. But it's just available. Like Ginger and a few other people do surplus and overbid. So we have a surplus and overbid app. I'm not including that in like Deal Desk because not everybody does that. It's a niche. But people want to do that. If somebody's in our group, like you come on board, Brian, anything you want, you got for life. You can go to in the Facebook groups that I have. There's files tab. You can go grab anything you want at any time, and it zips and just add them. So they're available to everybody, no matter what that is already in the group. So people can just mix and match if they want to go and add something. So you get into that, and this, like I said, this falls through into phase 3, the comp sweep and your ARV, and it gets down to the comp. And it goes through all this stuff, so I'm not going to really stop on it. It'll get you a deal analyst and your offer logic, and then it'll start going through a wholesale, BRRRR, rental. Then you get into phase 5, rehab scope of work, and then we have an extensive scope of work. I had a previous experience as a contractor back, before I got into this in 2017, 18. So I put a lot of stuff in there for Xactimate. I can't put actual Xactimate, but kind of the same principles. Insurance companies use it and contractors use it. Scope Technologies. I used to work for the guy that owns that company in Denver. He built a tech company for insurance adjusters and contractors, and he provides all the scopes for Owens Corning. So all their platinum contractors use his scopes. And he has an entire 50th floor of the public plaza in Denver, which is probably the tallest building you've ever seen, the Denver skyline. And then you get a skip trace. You get multiple options in skip tracing. You can save the GPT, or you can jump. You can actually do a lot of the work. If people are getting about 90% of what they need. For anything, they get 100% on some things, but they can jump over to the apps like the Anthropic stuff and use API. And that'll finish the deal. And that's why I promote the 0 spend. You don't have to go and spend any money on skip tracing. It's pretty cool. It gives all the tiers. And then you get into 7 is outreach conversation management. So this walks everybody through it. And like there's 3 different systems for it. I'll show you the learning mode. Learning mode is what I'm most proud of, really, of everything. And because even experienced people need it, because you can come in here. So you can come in, that's Capital Passport, but you get into learning mode. And so there's only two really commands: return to default and switch to mode, learning mode. And we have all these different modes. We have resident, most people are going to be resident operator if you're doing portfolios, transaction coordination, lender, wholesaling. What I like is learning mode. So you can get all these modes when you're in rehab. You can go to rehab mode. It helps you. Comms mode helps you with scripts and all that stuff. It's pretty cool. So I'll go switch to learning. So if somebody's brand new, they can actually just learn it from a very basic, almost like a community college kind of adult learning kind of level. Or if they're really experienced and you just want to dive really, you can ask for the MIT version. Like if you're getting into like serious like commercial real estate or something. So this will go in and it'll frame responses, education first. It's all plain English. Glossary, training plans, every topic for real estate investing is in here. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, if someone wants to go in and learn about DSCR, teach foreclosure lead flow from public record to outreach, or if they want a 7-day plan, or if they want to learn about syndication, cost segregation, 1031 exchange, they can come in here and they can ask for, you can go in and say, I'd like to have it on, I'm a beginner, or I'm experienced, but I'd like to learn more. You can go in and just type in, it'll come to, everything's in here. No matter what the asset class, what the strategy is, what their role is, it's all in learning mode. So I'm really proud of that because it really cuts down on a lot of people needing to go out and get more information. It teaches on a level playing field. And what I don't have in it, it'll go and search. It's done pretty good job. Everybody likes learning mode. So it's kind of cool. But like I said, most people are using, it's pretty cool. So we get a lot of good stuff. And like I said, then we do something. So after the first 7 days, then then I basically will do try to set up a one-on-one where you share your screen with me and I can kind of just, make adjustments, do this, to tweak that. And then we do another one probably a week later. By that time, like I said, Fred and Eric is Lou, I think I tried to connect you with. Those guys were off and running. They basically are just generating. Amanda as well. Willie Ingram is a transaction. He's a transaction coordinator and a capital connector, so he's kind of in a different flow. We have people across everything. So some people are lenders, some people are just wholesaling, some people are doing, it's across the board. I mean, Matt's just came on. Matt's been with us since 2020, 2019 as well. Matt's got in because he's in real estate too. He's in Santa Barbara. I'll have him talk in a minute. He's actually setting up a program for government contracting. He took a course through basically on how to become a government contractor, a prime contractor with like everywhere from Department of War to. So it's pretty cool. So we're trying to set that up. We got some other stuff going on in the metals industry, energy mining and stuff. That's what we did on June 1st. So we're very diversified. Real quick, let me introduce somebody to you. One of my business partners, Kevin. You want to real quick? I want to introduce you.
Howdy.
I think I've talked to you about Brian a few times. We've been talking, trying to get him on board. So he's joined us tonight. So I don't know if you want.
Yeah, you've been. Thanks for the follow up, and I want to apologize that I have been intermittent in following up, and especially trying to invest time into these Zoom meetings to get a better idea. I realize that other operators are busy, and so am I, and that's part of my excuse. And the other excuse is I started over. I'm an old guy, and I got a second life and a second wife, and I got these young kids, and the balance of time is always a big deal for me. So that's why I love technology and the efficiencies that it can bring to workflows. And our industry is always changing. And right now, what's hot is getting to, county level data because everything else is overused and abused out there in the market. Pay-per-click and everything else is just getting eaten up out there. So this is the new thing, and there's a couple of people out there that you even follow that I'm following that I'm trying to hone in, and where I'm going to add another modality to my CRM. We do it all. We try to do it all. I think a good business plan is always to be diversified because the lead sources and the targets in our economy is always changing. And thank you for introducing Kevin and allowing me to introduce myself. And the one other thing that I wanted to visit while I'm here, because I do have to duck out, is I noticed a while ago, probably a couple of months ago when I first started to dip in, that you had some set up for underwriting assisted living and multifamilies and a couple of other markets, segments and modalities of real estate. Is that still available? Because it's something new
Yeah.
that we want to start diving into. I have older family and parents, and now I'm thinking, I'm in this job. I'm gonna now create assisted living for them.
Yeah, it's not that difficult. It's not that difficult to produce because a lot of the systems that you're using for all these things are cross-referenced, and a lot of them do
Yeah,
the same thing. It's
yeah,
just
it's
being
true.
able to identify specific stuff.
Have
So
an
it won't be
SOPs.
yeah, it won't be difficult for you to do that at all. And our experience, because it takes everything that we've done is in this thing. So all the guys that was over Atlanta and everywhere else that were doing these assisted living things, I think Anthony had a couple of them,
Ad split.
Anthony
Mhm.
McCod, and all of that experience and the training that went into those is in this system. You just basically have to go to learning mode and get it up there, to where you're going to go, and it'll tell you basically how to put it together, and then you just go by those instructions and build it.
And then also,
It's pretty simple.
so Brian, also RCICsystems.com, which obviously we set you up,
Oh
Kevin,
yeah, so you
for
need to
access
get the
to.
ad. You need
It
to
does
get
have
the
assisted living in there, but we do
yeah.
also
You
have
need to pay.
yeah.
Does he have the latest access to the group? I mean, the Facebook group.
No,
There's all
because
these files that are in there that have all this put together, and someone's already done, and you need to get that to
yeah,
him so you can get to that and look at that.
I'll send you, now that I know that you're interested in that, Brian, I'll send you the links to the showroom kind of thing, which kind of shows you what it is, and there's also a guide that kind of shows you how, because RCIC systems is kind of like the website. You can use that, but we also have RCIC Deal Desk. But if something's out there that people want to do, like surplus and overbid, we'll build it. I mean, like I'm like literally we'll get together and I'll get together with a couple of people in the group that are interested in that to make sure that we tap everybody's experience in building it. So assisted living is something we don't have in it.
And everything that you put into this thing, everybody else is putting theirs into it. And as a machine, anytime you ask it a question, it goes again, it looks at everything that it's been exposed to come up with the answer. So the more of this that's in there, the more absolutely powerful this thing gets, the better off all the results are going to be for everybody. And it amplifies over time. Okay. So by doing these different things, it's not hurting it at all. In fact, it's making it better. So we encourage anybody that has an expertise or thinks they might be able to do something to bring it up. And more than likely, there'll be something that, that Nate can build to accommodate whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, if it's not already there now.
There's something called compounding intelligence in it. It's a huge factor. And when people try to set up their own, because I've had people, they come back to me and
absolutely.
Compounding intelligence means that we have everybody on right now. So let's say you and Ginger, Doris, Matt, and all them are working right now, Brian, on yours. They're doing something completely different. But everything you're doing, I can't see it. They can't see what you're doing. You can't see what they're doing, but the AI can, and it compounds. So all that information that everybody's pumping in, all that information that's being pumped out and as output, that all compounds within our group. We've got 200 people using it. We're gonna have more. So the more the people that are using it, the better it comes. I mean, Kevin can tell you it's a lot faster than what he was saying. Because I'm in here all the time.
Oh, so it's exponentially getting faster as he uses it. What are we on, week 10 now, or that we turned it on? Wasn't it like 10 weeks ago?
Yeah, somewhere like that.
So it's had 10 weeks to actually speed up, and then we've got probably 8 or 10 people. I don't know. He's got the numbers as far as how many are actually using it now. So all this it's got a lot of momentum behind it right now. So getting in where you're getting in, you haven't missed anything at all. If anything, you're getting into a sweet spot, okay? Because this thing is absolutely rolling. And then you put in your system and going into assisted living in it, it's going to be interesting to see what it comes up with. So you're in for some exciting times.
Yeah. But like I said, I'll send you over a couple things just to look at again. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's, that's one of the things I try to follow up with people is like, we got so much stuff going on. It's like letting people know that we're,
yeah, it's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
It really is.
At the point where I'm also now having the affiliate program because it's, we'll pay 25% through Gumroad. We have all our stuff on Gumroad, and they pay everybody because it's well, you're in the group. I mean, I've said in a lot of the groups that I'm in. The frustrating thing for me is having to compete with all these people. Like I built this or I built that. Like I'm in some AI groups now because I need to learn more about some of the stuff with AI. And I saw this thing probably, I don't know, Kevin, when I tell you about it, probably in May, there's a guy that put out an AI guru, and he put out a list of 250 ways to monetize AI, and 5 of them were instantly in my lane, like literally building. Because I didn't like come up and said I'm going to build this right now because AI is here. Everything we're doing is an evolution. A year from now, we'll be building onto it.
Yeah,
I'm putting all my stuff in here, and I go back to almost the turn of the century, and it's all going to end up going in here. I'm updating. We're right in the middle of updating my communications gear and everything else, and then hopefully within the next day or two, hint, somebody that's on the call, that thing will show up, and then we'll actually be able to get this hooked up. And when we do, we're going to end up sitting down and trying to broaden it whites-wise by adding my system into it. So,
Kevin, I don't know if you want to
we're looking forward to that.
And so everybody, and including you, Brian, everybody, we have some. You guys have seen some. I mean, some of the people on here were on the session. We have some larger stuff going on that isn't just real estate. That is,
it's getting crazy too.
Yeah, and anybody can get that, because you can download that app as well. And if everybody's out there on Facebook, and you guys, all these guys are like, yeah, I got a mine, or I got this, or I got that. Well, there's a gentleman that didn't have much experience, and he took a deal to the people that we're working with that are phenomenal. And it was a $500 million deal that went through, and the guy got paid $5 million broker fee. Not saying that everybody's going to go out and get one of those, but we have conversations with them today. We've got like 5 or 6 people in our
That's
group.
Why I was late getting on here tonight, by the way, Nate.
Yeah. So we have the ability, you find something out there, and even if you don't think it's legit, you can put it in a soup.
Yeah, you run it through me, and then I just take it in there, and we're good to go. Anything above $500,000, well, actually, it's gone up. I mean, we're in $1 billion or more, and in some cases, 10 billion is where he starts. But he's 500,000 liquid is what he's got. 500 million. Sorry. He's 500 million liquid. So,
wow.
As far as the apartment complexes, and if you're talking about your assisted living, if it makes sense, then he's in a position. We're all in a position to get that kind of stuff done.
His company that he works for is a principal. He's not the president, but they were being white label for hard money lenders. So that's why I met him like 5 years ago. I just reconnected with him about.
Actually, he's a private banker. The firm is a private banking firm. So,
and is that where this started? It started out as you guys were private money lenders, and
no.
Okay. Kevin is also.
I'm one of the founders of the private money industry. Gwen is one of the founders of the private money industry. Okay, we're going back to 2010. And the hard money industry is not a private money industry setup. That's where this gets its roots.
They advised the Federal Reserve. They were called into it.
Yeah.
They met at the Federal.
And Gwen was the individual working in the Federal Reserve that was my corresponding person with the Federal Reserve. It was just bizarre how this happened. And Nate finds her, and she's in Atlanta. Okay, right? They had a really good relationship with the Atlanta Fed too, which that's why that made all kinds of sense. And I thought, there's no way. And when I called her up, it was her, and she took her a while to figure out who I was on the phone. But yeah, it's we got that. And then another individual that I consider one of the founders is Leonard Rosen. And then we have Lee Arnold. He's basically a 506 or a Form A guy, where you're basically dealing with, syndicating each individual property kind of investment kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then there's us, which is basically a 506D format is what we had. And you don't need a license for any of this stuff. And by the way, if any of you want to learn how to broker, guess what? It's in there. Okay. Mm-hmm. And, any questions regarding how that works, just don't be afraid to reach out to me on any of that too. And then Nate's very well versed at being able to set up funds. Okay. Specific funds and all that kind of stuff. Nate's an expert at that, and he knows. And again, a lot of these files are in there, but he knows where all the bones are buried. Okay, so he's even registered with Edgar on a lot of this stuff.
There's 4 of us in the group that came through Lee Arnold and Kogo. Ginger's on right now. She's the one. Kevin, me, Neil producing.
Neil.
So, and I did after my private money broker course, and which is 8 years. The anniversary will be at the end of August. My 7th deal was a $7.2 million deal with a family office. So my background is as a private money broker. I met Kevin and some other partners that we started looking at not only putting our own fund together, we were looking at building a 112-story building in Denver with some other partners involved, including a former Hollywood stunt skier. He used to be James Bond in every movie where James Bond was skiing. He was James Bond. He was one of our partners, but COVID wrecked all that as well. So that was like our first.
Yeah.
We've literally had to evolve. Like, I think different people came along. Willie came along. I think almost a lot of people on the session right now that are experienced with us came along at different points when we were evolving. When getting to AI is the best thing that's happened, because we're able to now, especially with this other capital group that we're working with, and we have another guy that's been with us since 2020, who's actually filing paperwork on Friday with his partners, and they've already got the permission from the Virgin Islands to open a bank there. They'll be able to do business in the entire United States.
And that's another thing that me and a couple other people here are going to be doing in the Pacific.
Yeah, they're doing it on Vanuatu. Kevin is. So we've got a couple.
Vanuatu.
So a lot of
4 miles northeast of Sydney.
Yeah.
4 hours northeast of Sydney.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of people, and we got a lady who's been with us 5 years in Melbourne, Australia. We got somebody in Pakistan. Yep. They're from Dallas.
She's one of the ones that's leading that effort over there in Vanuatu.
Belgium, United Kingdom, Canada. So we've got people around the country. We've got an ATF agent who's in our group from the Michigan field office. So we've got also a gentleman who just retired from the Army as a master sergeant after 20 years, who built housing, affordable housing just outside of Fort Bragg. He bought lots while he was still in the Army, built the first models. He sold out. He's going to be rinsing and repeating at like 8 different Army bases right outside the main gate. And he's in contact with the command.
Off-base housing.
Yeah. He's in contact with the command sergeant majors of 8 different Army installations: Bragg, Benning, Campbell, Belvoir, a few other ones. Rucker. He's going to be building these, and that's his forte. So we've got a lot of different people who are experienced in a lot of different things. So it's great when you need to
Robert Newburn.
Yeah, Robert Newburn went from 0 to 250.
Cameron Barry.
Yep, Cameron Barry. Matt.
Gabe Grzinski.
Matt, are you on?
Yep.
Hey, Matt, do you want to real quick run through just what you're doing? Because Matt's got some cool stuff going on.
I have to go.
Okay, Brian, appreciate it.
I do have to go, but I'm gonna continue to drop in, and I know that you're available, Nate, too, and I'm putting one foot in front of the other. It's a platform that I'm looking at, and I appreciate your guys' time and all the insight, and I'll continue to consider.
Yeah, definitely reach out. I will. As I do, I try to keep you guys in the loop.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that you are. I think it's really effective, and time, like I said, my purely without the reason for not fully engaging is I'm just trying to follow up on the information that you give me. I have seen quite a few of the videos that you've already published, and I'm still, it's new. It's like I run in Chat GPT all the time, and I understand it. I understand that you guys now have built a knowledge base that's second to none, that's rooted in the real estate industry, and you have a lot of the groundwork done that I don't have to recreate. I'm not a guy that wants to create the wheel. I'm the one that wants to.
We have a convert, Nate. We have a
I want to be the one that spins it. I want to be the one that spins the wheel. So, thank you for your time, gentlemen. And
I'll put my money on 28 black.
Yeah, sounds good. Again, thank you for your time, and I'll follow up again, and I most likely will have some questions, and I will jump in these Zooms until I've converted.
Yeah. Well,
it won't take you long.
Yeah. Well, and if you want to do like a, one-on-one call with Kevin or something too, let me know. And I'll set that.
Yeah.
Because he's
not a problem either.
His background, his family's background is incredible. So just so you know what everybody's capable of. So yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah, I love that, our communities in real estate are very supportive for the most part. Everybody's got their bad apples, but that's another thing that is important.
They're going to find it very hard to live in this environment that's being created by this.
Yeah.
Bad apples are going to fall off.
Yeah, that's good. And certainly I feel like I have a nose for good stuff, and that's why I'm sticking around and continuing to see what it's all about. So thank you guys.
All right.
No problem. You be careful and take care. And it's good meeting you.
Okay, you too. We'll see you again. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Brian. All right. So guys, I'm going to really quick, because we did go like a little over an hour. I'm going to take the recording.
Yeah, where are we with these properties we picked up yesterday? What are they looking like?
I haven't looked at them yet because we're going to go off recording to do that.
Yep, it's time.
So I'm taking off the recording, everybody.